Welcome back to the Ask Dom Nat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. The fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pereira, but you know me as Ask Dom Nat. Today, guys, I am here with y'all to give you the news you need to know, to give you some informative, just what my goals are in 2026. So let's get into the rundown. Now, we have 30 minutes together, guys. So today is so much information that I don't know that I can pack it into 30 minutes, but I'm going to give my best. U.S. captures Maduro. Maduro from Venezuela is in the U.S. Woo, a lot there. Now, because that's going to take quite a bit of our show, and instead of just talking about that from a geopolitical standpoint, I want to incorporate really what the business significance of U.S. capturing Maduro is. Next is I want to get into my goals for 2026. A lot of people have been asking me, Dom, what are your goals for 2026? And I'm just, okay, I have my own personal goals. I want to get into that with you guys. And they're ambitious. They're ambitious. I want 2026 to be my best year ever. So hopefully with your guys' help, we're going to accomplish that. Let's get into U.S. capture Maduro. All right. So President Trump, hate it or love him, decided, you know what, Venezuela is looking real comfortable over there, and I don't like it. You have Venezuela. For those who don't know, Venezuela is ran by, I'll call it an authoritative, or was ran by authoritarian dictator, Nicolás Maduro. Nicolás Maduro was in power. He lost an election by about 70% back in 2024, but decided, I don't want to go anywhere. Actually, I like this little presidential palace. I'm not going to go anywhere, but there have been allegations of he's sending drugs. You know, he's working with the cartel to send drugs to the United States. He's not favorable to U.S. companies. There's an embargo in Venezuela. All the good stuff that comes with the hand of American democracy. Really, the issue that came to be is that all of that's going on, the instability in Venezuela, and the United States was like, well, you're sitting on a hefty little reserve there. So Nicolás Maduro, you're sitting on a lot of good reserves and minerals, and we don't like how you're acting. So what happened? Let's get into the first clip. If you were in Venezuela, this is what you saw this weekend. This is what you saw. U.S. taxpayer dollars at its finest. Their military bases by some weapons of U.S. engineering. So what does this mean for Venezuelans? I'm torn, guys. Tell me what you guys think. I am torn on this because do I believe that sovereign countries should handle their own thing and do their own thing? Yes, I do. I do believe that. But do I also realize it's finally got my notifications. Yo, ¿cómo estamos, papá? Do I also realize that people in Venezuela hated Nicolás Maduro? Yes, I do. So when you have somebody that's taking over the people and like, I'm an authoritarian, I don't want to go anywhere, and people hate you, they want to get you out. They try to do it the right way by voting you out. Then it's like, oh, I still don't want to go. Then the long arm of the law comes into play. So people are saying, oh, it's a sovereign country. It's a sovereign country. I agree. But guess what, people? This is real life. And the person with the stick controls the games of the rule. And guess what? The United States had the stick of justice because Venezuela had oil. So this stick was like, So what happened? So Nicolás Maduro played around. And it's como mamá, right? When your mom got a stick, if you're an immigrant, you know what this does. So what happened? So Nicolás Maduro went to sleep real comfortable at 10 o'clock. By 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m., this was him. This was him. Nicolás Maduro. He's like, ooh, America.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, so an aside, if you don't wish me a Happy New Year and tell me good night when I see you, I can't be your friend. If you don't tell me Happy New Year and good night just out of pleasantry, out of being courteous, then we cannot associate together. You have a man who is an authoritarian tyrant who just lost his country, he lost his power, and he still has the decency to say Happy New Year. So sorry if you can't wish me a Happy New Year. He said, good night, Happy New Year. Sorry, just lost my country, but Happy New Year. So if you're not telling me that, then you're just rude. So Maduro loses his country, and at the end of the day, yes, it might be, who's to say what's right or wrong? I don't know. The victors write history. What you have to come out of this is understanding, well, what are people's motivations? What are their motivations? People are like, oh, liberate Venezuela, do this. It's right to help the people. You know how many countries out there are starving? You know how many countries are in guerrilla warfare and nobody cares? You know how many regimes, Darfur, Uganda, DRC, there's all sorts of uprising and humanitarian crises. The United States doesn't care. You know what they care about? I said it in a clip a couple weeks ago. Here's what they care about. I care about. So that's the Venezuelan oil situation. It's not about drugs. It's about oil and money. It's about oil and money. Venezuela has oil. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world for crude oil. In the world, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Iraq, more than, if you have what people want, they will try to work with you or they will try to overthrow you. One of the two. There's no third. Right? And if you don't have enough guns and weapons, then working with you won't be the option that's really on the table. So lastly, with this, I said it's about oil, but people told me, no, it's not. It's about democracy. It's about whatever. But President Trump this week had a press conference, and here's what he said.
Everyone knows the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country for a long period of time.
So what do you make of this, right? Okay, it's all on the table. Now you know the situation. United States overthrew a government because it had resources that the United States wanted. Right or wrong, the people of Venezuela are like, well, we wanted that government out anyways. We try to vote them out. So we don't really want the United States, but, the lesser of two evils, we don't know. They're kind of stuck in the middle. The United States people, though, right? If you had an issue last week buying your groceries, if you had an issue last week buying some presents for your kids or whatever, does this help you? Does this help you? Is your life better now that United States has taken over Venezuela? Puerto Venezuela. Bam, 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 bam. Bienvenido a los Estados Unidos. Venezuela. Welcome. Right? Does it really help you? In that press conference, he didn't talk about the American people. I didn't go to sleep last week thinking, man, if only we had control of Venezuela, my life would be better. Right? Like the same way, I don't really care. I don't. Anybody who tells you that they really care, they probably work in humanitarians, right? Like there's some people with really good hearts out there. I love that for them. I'm just broke. I'm trying to fix that problem first. Before I fix the Venezuelan problem, I'm trying to fix my cash flow problem. I got taxes. Ooh, watch out now. They collecting taxes this year. If you haven't paid your taxes, be careful because they just used quite a bit of bombs. They sent over like 117, 120 planes over to Venezuela. They need to pay that war bill. So pay your taxes or else they're coming for you. So that's my only issue is that this doesn't help me. Selfishly, it doesn't. So now how can it help you? All right, here's my advice. So this is a business and investment show, even though this is only for information and entertainment purposes. Don't sue me. Don't send your warships to me. All right. Do your own research. But if I was in a position to invest, right or wrong, I would invest in oil businesses in Venezuela. Chevron is already out there. I told you guys this a couple weeks ago. Chevron had a special license, but they had to operate not in impunity, but they had to operate cautiously. I would start looking at Chevron. Last week, we talked about government contracts. You don't think that there's going to be some government contracts for businesses in Venezuela? Oh, if you speak Spanish and English, qué maravilloso, papá. Van a Venezuela y empiezan un negocio porque saben que tienen que ayudar el Estados Unidos allí. Sabe este negocio, you know it's going to come. There are going to be opportunities to establish convenience stores, hotels, lodging, these soldiers that are occupying whatever, right or wrong. I'm not here to dispute that, but I'm saying if you're looking at it from a strictly business perspective, oil adjacent businesses, logistical companies, if you have a trucking company, if you have a logistics and shipping company, this is all going to come into play in the next couple of years over here in Venezuela, because all of that money and investment, warships, they're not just going to say, okay, have it back now without nothing, right? No, they're going to pump a lot of money out of there. All right. Maybe I'll start looking into some real estate out of Venezuela también. Some beachside stuff. I don't know. I feel bad sometimes talking about it like this. But this is why I love y'all. And I hope you guys love me, because I'm having the conversations with you in public, what they're only saying behind closed doors. It is. Who tells you to look at beachfront property in Venezuela? Right? Like somebody wish they would have told you that, you know, when some of these other colonies were being conquered. Sorry. But we're also going to keep an eye out, guys. What does this mean on the last point of this? What does this mean also really for China and Taiwan? What does this mean for Russia? They just saw the United States take over a country with impunity. China's like, that looks real good in Taiwan, because what's the only thing that we really need more than oil and gold? Venezuela has a huge gold deposit and reserves, by the way, more than most countries in Africa. So what does this mean for China? Well, the only thing we love more than those is chips. Who has chips, computer chips, semiconductors? Who has that infrastructure? Taiwan. Taiwan, be careful. You guys, you're making all those chips. Make sure you make some planes, some anti-missiles, because guess what? The stick of Chinese justice might have just pointed to you. Communist regime is saying, hey, you know what? United States did it. We got our own stick. And they got like 1.5 billion people. Ooh. So let's that's my take on Venezuela. If you are, and which is so funny, because we've been having, a lot of conversations about the truth will set you free. Got to talk about how it is, not how it makes you feel. That's right, brother. Smart man. So my last take on that is what? I lost my train of thought, guys. That comment was so honest that I lost my train of thought. Well, Yeltsin, gracias. But all right, so let's move over to what am I going to be doing for 2026, guys? Woo! Welcome to the official. If you started the year, you know that this first Monday is the first Monday that everybody is back into the office. You're really now getting in stride. Everybody is doing their own thing. So my goals for 2026 are simple. I am focused on you guys. I'm focused on the business. Here's a list of everything that I want to get done this year, and I am being ambitious with it. Welcome to my goals. The first one is this: Ask Domnat. I've played around with it a couple years. I love making content, but I'm so busy. I'm not consistent. But this show, with so much other content that I have planned out for y'all, we have so much informational stuff. You will be seeing me on your timeline consistently. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. All I ask for you is to be honest with me. The truth will set you free, a great man once said. Now, when you're honest with me, what I want to do is provide so much value to y'all, because there are certain things that I know that I don't realize that not everybody knows as well. You know stuff that I don't know. So I want to exchange that information. I want to get to 150,000 followers. It's not impossible. I wouldn't even say it's difficult. But that's my goal this year. I want to see. So if you're on the show, if you're watching, thank you. You're part of that. So now I probably only need 145,950 or something like that. All 50 of you guys watching. I appreciate that. All right. I want to also start a private community with y'all where I can really I love this public talk, right? But I want to, this is a one-way conversation. I want to hear from y'all more. I want to start the private community. I want to make myself more available. I want to answer. I can't tell you how many questions I get. I consult so much. How many, Dom, how do we start a business? I was just working on a $2 million deal with somebody a couple days ago. And I realized that this would be great information for other people to know. I shouldn't be in these rooms by myself and just hearing them and hearing opportunities. I want to make them public to you guys who are really interested. So start in my private community. And then lastly, I've been asked to speak at numerous events. I am an orator. I don't have a talent. I was not born with a talent, guys. It's like some people that are born naturally good at chess or playing piano, or like Rain Man, where they can do math in their head, like 85. That's not me. My talent is this. I've talked to you guys. I can't even see you. I'm literally talking to a camera. I don't even know who's behind it. I'm just talking with all this energy. That's a talent in itself. Doesn't do you any good unless you really have something to say. So the speaking engagement is what I really want to do, get in front of more of you guys on the day-to-day. And that's going to be my goal. I want to get Ask Domnat on a larger platform. If I can complete that, that's my checkbox for Ask Domnat. Well, what else do I want to take care of? Deca Farms. My farm ventures. I love farming. I am an agriculturalist at heart. I want to grow my farm to $200,000 in revenue by the end of this year. I don't have much time because January has already started, which means it's almost done, and I haven't made much revenue yet. So we have 11 more months to really hit the ground and 200K goal. What that means for me is that I want to do events, I want to do content, I want to do market garden vegetables, and I want to do livestock. For those who know, we already have somewhat small events going on at the farm. These small events are typically birthday parties. We've had some anniversaries, we've had some picnics, but we've had difficulties with the winter. I realize that winter has been very challenging because we don't have proper infrastructure. So working now, finishing January before spring comes, and finishing the infrastructure projects for the farm is going to help in people getting in, figuring out what they want to do, seeing the vision, and then planning premium events. We're on 400 acres. This is not your average farm. I wish we can show more. Hold on. Okay, Chris, a president and his wife were literally kidnapped illegally by American government. We'll be extremely lucky if we just haven't started World War III, especially when president is talking about taking over other countries. I wouldn't even be thinking about investing anything in Venezuela right now. Chris, I love that. The reality is, yes, illegally kidnapped by American government. Here's what I'm going to challenge you on that, though. I wouldn't be surprised personally if it wasn't a little bit of insider communication and trading. I know that people are talking about how he was taken, right? Yeah, sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Nicolás Maduro hadn't received a phone call a day, 2 days, or a week before and said, hey, the hammer is coming down. And either you're the nail or you're the, I don't know, the screw. I don't know. That's a bad analogy, people. But either work with us or get killed, right? We don't need to take you alive. But if you want, we have a new, he had a Nike tech suit. Who even knew his size? What clothes he wore? But, and the reality is, yes, maybe, I am worried about what the repercussions are from other countries, but I don't know. I don't know that Russia kind of got into its own kerfuffle with Ukraine. They haven't made advancements there. I don't think that they're going to overextend their military might over to the Western Hemisphere. China is the one that probably has the most to lose because Venezuela was in debt to China by about $10 billion and was paying China the $10 billion in oil. So China has to make sure that they recoup their money. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know that people are going to retaliate as much as we think they are just because Nicolás Maduro did not have as much support from the local government or like the local people. When the people don't support you, it's hard to get sympathy. If he was a popular president, if he had high approval ratings, then I would be completely on board with that sentiment. But the fact that he doesn't have high approval ratings, it was either a coup, it was either an assassination, or a military hostile takeover. And we don't, what I'm saying is, remember, it's not that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that the United States of America became united. Look at every state that we have in this country. It did not start off as United States. It started off as some little country or some little province or territory that looked very appetizing and appeasing to a sitting U.S. president. And they said, hey, look at Texas. Texas is one, I've lived in Texas, and it's one of the most patriotic states out there, self-proclaimed. We love Texas, right? They don't really like Mexico that much, but it used to be part of Mexico, right? Like, and eventually Mexico, read up on the history on how Texas became part of the United States. They sent military in, that the military took over, and all of a sudden they put up a wall and a border fence and said, hey, this is ours now. I hate to say it, but this is how strong men have been doing it for a long time. What do we do about it? I mean, I guess we can vote the right people in. Maybe we need more women leaders, more empathetic and sympathetic women leaders. Or whatever we do, look out for your interests. Oh, I hate to say that. But it's the truth. Make sure that, like me personally, part of the reason that I started my farm is because I want food security. I don't trust that the grocery store is always going to have food when it hits the fan. You got to carry some cash on you, people, even if, sometimes the monetary system, whatever. But you can't we live in willful ignorance, thinking that, the banks are always going to have our money. The restaurants and the grocery stores are always going to have our food. That's just not the case. And if you are Nicolás Maduro, you realize that one day you could be, in the presidential palace. The next day you're in Rikers Island. That's just the reality of life. So if he wasn't, I'm just worried about how overextended we are from our government standpoint. Like, how does this help me? How does invading Venezuela help me? It doesn't, unless I invest in companies in Venezuela. Sorry. Maybe. But all right, so back to the goals, guys. So Thicka Farms, we need to get 200K in revenue. My goal there is to host exclusive retreats, some guy retreats, maybe some yoga stuff, right? Elevated experience. So 200K is not easy. $200,000 is about, what is that? Somebody do the math on that. Is that like $15,000 a month? It's not impossible, but it's not easy. And believe it or not, that's the least of the ambition goals. GCN, Global Computers and Networks. It's my tech and consulting firm that I've had for now 13 years. I am ready to scale this to the next level. 10x it, as some would say. And by that, I want a $10 million valuation. Woo, damn, you crazy. You want $10 million. Well, $10 million valuation. That doesn't mean the $10 million in cash. How am I going to get $10 million valuation for my consulting company? Guys, we do application development. We create products. We consult. We do a lot. We do digital marketing for clients. $10 million valuation, when you own a company, the value of the company is not just based on the cash that you have, but it's based on the revenue that you create. We can do a whole separate video about valuations. when you are doing the revenue projections, if you make $1, your company is not necessarily worth $1. Your company might be worth $3. Somebody might buy that right to that $1 every, however often you make every year. So let's talk about this in more practical matters. If my company generates $1 million a year, but I have a $1 million a year cash flow or whatever, but the company might be worth $3 million because of the valuation multiplier. So in technology, depends on the service that you're offering, it's about 3 to 5x, 3 to 5x multiplier on the money that you make. So let's start at the low end. If I can generate $3 million in revenue this year, all right, and we're talking gross revenue, but we have a high margin business. $3 million in gross revenue through consulting, through Atlantic, which is a product that we build. It's an enterprise grade product for businesses. Atlantic is something that we really going to be pushing. If we can get $3 million in gross revenue and recurring revenue, then that 3x multiplier, all of a sudden, my business is worth $10 million. I'm not greedy, people. Is $10 million too much? Is $10 million too much? Tell me. I'm not greedy, but I figured if I have 10 mil, I might be out. I might be out the game. I don't know. Let's see. If I'm still here next year, if I'm wishing y'all a happy 2027 with my stick and my coffee, we'll see. We'll do a recap at the end of this year, and I'll tell you how far up that 10 mil we got. But I'm very confident that we can get there. Atlantic is a product. I've been doing service for a long, long time. One thing that I don't want to do this year is sell my time because I only have so much time to give. But now if I have a service that companies can purchase, it's a subscription based, that they're paying monthly recurring, then we can scale that service to service so many more clients around the country, around the world, possibly in Venezuela. Sorry. I'm not the bad guy. I'm just, I didn't shoot anybody. I did not put anybody in handcuffs. But Atlantic, or as we might call it, Corlantico, in Venezuela here. But so we'll be doing that. Now, the last thing that I want to really focus on is Clear Social. It's the social media app that we created. It's there. It's running. We have users. But I want to get to 100,000 users this year. And I have a plan to do it. I can't announce it on this show, but I will be announcing the plan to get Clear Social to 100,000 users this year and scale that. We need to fix the bugs on Clear Social. What we realized is when we had a spike in users, thank you for everybody that came out, supported, talk trash too. We have some trash talkers online. Some people are not the nicest people online when they're behind their keyboards. By the way, for everybody that doesn't know how technology works, don't think that you're so anonymous online, right? Like these companies know where you're at. Look, they can track you. I just see some people putting the dumbest things online, and I'm like, bro, I know, like you put your real address in the profile, whatever. But so we want to fix the bugs. We want to get to 100,000 users. But the issue that we realized is that when we got to our first 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, the app started crashing. People were like, oh, I can't log in. I'm like, whoa, 5,000 people trying to use this app that I created? Welcome, but wow, it wasn't ready. We weren't ready. And you typically have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And we weren't ready. Clear Social will be ready this year. And on top of that, we're going to need some funding. Because what we saw is as the usage went up, our bill, our Amazon bill, we are a AWS service, skyrocketed. I'm like, who's going to pay for this internet bill? All these people uploading your videos, I can't afford to host all of that. So I panicked, people. Not all business is straight line. I said, I want users. The users came. I wasn't ready. Won't happen again, folks. Won't happen again. This year, we're going to be ready. That's going to be my goal for 2026. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this to me. I'm going to knock myself out. I'm sure that people will pay for that content. But that's it, folks. That's my goal. I want to make $200,000 on my farm. I want to make $10 million in my technology company. I want to grow my social media platform, and I want to share it with y'all. And if you're willing to stand by me and do that, then thank you. Welcome to the Ask Dom Nash Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. The fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. Thank you. We'll see you on Monday or Wednesday.